To activate intuition for right decisions, Paramahansa Yogananda would first ask us to become very quiet inside. Intuition is not something to be forced or hunted. It is something remembered. It has always been present, like a hidden river beneath the noise of thought. Wrong decisions arise not because intuition fails us, but because we drown its voice with restlessness, fear, and the endless chatter of the ego. The soul already knows the way. The work is to clear the dust from the mirror. Before we begin, let's pause a moment. If you enjoyed this video, hit like button, comment below about your thought, and subscribe so you don't miss any video inspired by Yogananda's teaching. Thank you very much. Yogananda taught that intuition is the direct perception of truth by the soul. It is not guesswork, emotion, or impulse. It is calm, luminous knowing. When intuition speaks, it does not shout. It arrives as certainty without tension, as clarity without argument. The intellect debates, intuition simply sees. Most people reverse the order of life by consulting anxiety first and wisdom last. To activate intuition, one must restore the natural hierarchy. Soul first, mind second, senses last. The greatest enemy of intuition is outwardness. When consciousness is scattered through the senses, it becomes fragmented and weak. The soul's light diffuses and loses its power to guide. Yogananda often said that a lake must be still to reflect the moon. Likewise, the mind must be still to reflect divine intelligence. A restless mind cannot receive guidance, no matter how intelligent the person may be. Stillness is not passivity. It is receptive power. Daily interior silence is the foundation of intuitive living. When one sits quietly, spine erect, breath calm, and attention withdrawn from the senses, something sacred begins to awaken. At first, there may be only darkness or wandering thoughts. This is not failure. It is the honest condition of the mind revealing itself. With patience, the waves begin to settle. In that quietude, intuition does not arrive as a dramatic voice but as a gentle inner alignment. One begins to feel when something is right or wrong without needing external proof. Yogananda emphasized the role of the spiritual eye, the center of intuition between the eyebrows. Concentration on this point gradually shifts awareness from the body and emotions to the soul's perspective. Decisions made from this center feel expansive and peaceful. Decisions made from fear feel contracted and heavy. Learning to notice this difference is a great step toward intuitive mastery. The body itself becomes an instrument of guidance, responding instantly to truth or falsehood. Intuition strengthens when desire is purified. Most wrong decisions come from wanting outcomes rather than wanting truth. When desire dominates, intuition becomes distorted, forced to justify what the ego already wants. Yogananda taught that one must surrender personal preference at the altar of divine wisdom. This surrender does not mean weakness. It means trust in a higher intelligence that sees beyond time. When you can honestly say, "I want what is right, not merely what I like," intuition begins to flow freely. Fear is another great blocker. Fear creates urgency, and urgency silences intuition. The soul never rushes. It operates from eternity. When faced with an important decision, Yogananda advised withdrawing energy from panic and returning it to calm awareness. If a decision must be made immediately, intuition will still speak, but only to a calm heart. A frightened mind hears only echoes of its own anxiety. Right decisions are not always comfortable decisions. Intuition may guide you away from familiar paths, away from people or habits that once felt safe. Yet intuition always carries an undercurrent of peace, even when the outer step requires courage. Yogananda taught that peace is the signature of divine guidance. Excitement may accompany intuition, but agitation never does. When inner peace is absent, it is wise to wait. Another key to activating intuition is moral alignment. Yogananda was clear that intuition thrives in a life of truthfulness, self-control, and compassion. Dishonesty clouds perception. Harmful intentions distort inner sight. The soul cannot guide clearly when the heart is divided. Every act of integrity strengthens intuitive power, just as every compromise weakens it. Right living is not a moral burden. It is a practical method for clear guidance. Prayer, when practiced rightly, awakens intuition. Not the prayer of begging, but the prayer of attunement. Yogananda taught that prayer should be a deep conversation with God, followed by attentive listening. After sincerely asking for guidance, one must become inwardly silent. Many people pray loudly and listen little. Intuition answers in the listening. It may come during prayer, meditation, or later during ordinary activity, but it always comes when the heart is receptive. One of Yogananda's most powerful teachings was that intuition grows through obedience to small inner promptings. When intuition speaks softly and is ignored, it withdraws. When it is honored, even in minor matters, it grows stronger. Life becomes a classroom where every choice refines perception. Gradually, intuition moves from occasional guidance to constant companionship. Decisions no longer feel heavy. They feel natural. The intellect has its rightful place. Yogananda did not teach blind intuition divorced from reason. He taught intuition-guided intelligence. First receive intuitive insight, then use reason to carry it out wisely. Reason without intuition is clever but short-sighted. Intuition without reason may be impractical. When soul and mind cooperate, decisions become both inspired and effective. Attachment to outcomes also weakens intuition. When you cling to success, approval, or specific results, you create inner noise. Yogananda taught that one must act wholeheartedly and then surrender the fruits to God. This inner freedom allows intuition to operate without pressure. Strangely, when you stop trying to control outcomes, life begins to arrange itself with astonishing precision. Intuition becomes especially clear when the heart is filled with love. Love expands awareness beyond the narrow self. In moments of genuine compassion, people often know exactly what to do without thinking. This is intuition in action. Yogananda taught that love is a form of knowledge. When love is pure, it reveals truth directly. Decisions made from love align naturally with divine will. Silence between actions is as important as action itself. Yogananda encouraged brief moments of inward pause throughout the day. Before speaking, deciding, or reacting, return awareness to the breath and the spiritual eye. Even a few seconds of inwardness can realign consciousness. Life then becomes a continuous meditation, with intuition guiding each step. Mistakes will still happen. Yogananda reassured seekers that errors do not mean intuition has failed. They mean lessons are unfolding. Intuition matures through experience. When a decision proves wrong, respond with calm introspection, not self-condemnation. Ask what was learned where fear or desire interfered. This honest reflection refines inner perception. As intuition awakens, life begins to feel guided rather than chaotic. Synchronicities increase. Right people appear at the right time. Obstacles redirect rather than defeat. This does not mean life becomes easy, but it becomes meaningful. Even difficulties are recognized as purposeful. Ultimately, Yogananda taught that intuition is the voice of God within. To trust intuition is to trust that you are not alone, that a higher intelligence is actively guiding your evolution. When you live intuitively, decisions no longer come from fragmentation but from wholeness. You act not as a fearful individual navigating a hostile world, but as a soul cooperating with divine order. In this state, right decisions are not strained achievements. They are natural expressions of inner harmony. You do not ask endlessly, "What should I do?" You feel, "This is right." And in that feeling is peace, strength, and quiet joy. When intuition is fully activated, life itself becomes the answer.